So here we see the syringe needle going in and the lipid nanoparticles coming out. Probably 3 to 6,000 billion per injection. 3 to 6 trillion. And the body's never seen lipid nanoparticles before you had your first mRNA vaccination. These are completely new to the human body. And they circulate around in the blood. Here we see it going through a blood vessel, circulating around with the much larger erythrocytes, the red blood cells. And the body's never seen these lipid nanoparticles before, and this is before we even think about what they contain. Nano means very, very small. And they'll go everywhere. They're supposed to stay in the deltoid muscle, but they don't. They circulate everywhere around the body, even if they're not given via an inadvertent intravascular injection. They're going to go to all 5 toes. They're going to go to your ears. They're going to go to your heart, your liver, your spleen, your kidneys. These things go everywhere, the ovaries and the testes. Then when they come to a cell, they'll go inside the cell, this process called endocytosis. And this modified foreign RNA will end up inside the cell, as will the lipid nanoparticle itself, into the wall of the vascular endothelium, the linings of the blood vessels. And because the RNA is in this lipid nanoparticle, it avoids the immune system. So will contaminating DNA avoid the immune system and be transported straight into our cells. Any contaminating DNA will be carried very, very efficiently by the lipid nanoparticles into cells. And we know they go everywhere because this one's been labelled with luciferase, which gives off light. And these things can be seen in all organs of the body because they circulate everywhere in the blood, as we see in this amazing graphic, coming into contact with the walls of the vascular endothelium, the lining of the blood vessels. So this diagram gives us another sense of scale of the lipid nanoparticles. Here's the lipid nanoparticle here with its fatty membrane outside. Here's the modified RNA inside, and this is actually a SARS coronavirus too. Now remember that viruses themselves are too small to be seen through a light microscope. We need to see them through an electron microscope, and even then we don't get a great deal of detail. So we see that the lipid nanoparticle is way smaller than the size of a virus. So it's no wonder these little things can get everywhere, because they can go through very small gaps indeed. Now this massive structure we see here is a red blood cell. So this is all one red blood cell. These are about 7 micrometers in diameter across. And if we get lipid nanoparticles, if we assume the lipid nanoparticles are 80 nanometers each, which is about right, then we see that it would be 87 of them to fit across the diameter of a red blood cell. And bear in mind, these red blood cells are so small, there's about 5 billion, 5,000 million of them inside 1 milliliter of blood. And on that scale, these are the lipid nanoparticles. In fact, that would be quite a big one that I'm drawing there. This is how small they are compared to red blood cells. So 5 billion of these red blood cells in 1 milliliter of blood, and yet this is the size of the lipid nanoparticles. It's no wonder they can get just about everywhere in the body. Now, those graphics just really bring the situation to life, don't they? Very much more detail in those videos. But that just gives you a bit of an insight into these pesky lipid nanoparticles. Until these problems are resolved, there should be a moratorium on mRNA vaccines. In my view, let me know what you think.